Peace, Love, Liberty Radio version 4.0. Prepare for launch.
OTC is go.
Packetbus is go.
PTC is go.
LPS is go.
Houston flight is go.
Molotov.
STM is go.
Safety comms is go.
ST is go.
LRD is go. SRO is go.
CDR is go.
Launch Director, NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston.
Consequences so severe, so pull your trigger quickly, dear. Our patriots are acting up, let's punish them with fear.
Hey, welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry. We do this thing every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and every Wednesday I answer your questions. You can send those over to ama@fppradio.com. Now, I'm finally going to get into a topic that I teased about a week ago, and then I teased again on Monday. I did not tease on Wednesday. That's because I was answering your questions. But this is 4 things that you can learn from stand-up comedians about public speaking. And before I get into this, I just want to say that I think that everybody at one time in their life or another should try doing stand-up comedy. Even if you don't think you're funny, just try it. And if you have a fear of public speaking, well, then just try it. And I say this not because I want to laugh at you, but because I honestly think that it's a good experience. I've done it once in my life, actually a couple times. So there was one time when I did a amateur stand-up comedy night in Birmingham at the Comedy Club, and then there was another time when I actually hosted a open mic comedy thing at the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and I was up on stage for the better part of the 2-hour event, just filling time between acts. And, you know, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed doing it. And, yes, I'm not the funniest man in the world. I'm definitely no Louis C.K., but, again, it's an experience that I think everybody should experience at least once in their life. And when I say I think you should, it's not me saying I'm going to force you to. I'm just saying that it's an experience that, you know, I think that everybody will be better off having experienced if they do so voluntarily. So let's now jump into the article here from lifehack.org. Stand-up comedy seems to be so easy. You just enter the stage and you start telling jokes. There are no bullet point lists, no screens, no pauses, just the comedian speaking on, entertaining the audience. Now it suddenly seems less easy, right? Well, the reality is stand-up comedy is not easy at all because you need to master a lot of skills, apart from having enough humor to make an entire audience laugh for 2 to 3 hours on end. And this, they're talking about the prime time performers. They're not talking about the guys that you go see on like an open mic night where they have like 5 minutes. And even some of the people that are working their way up. So they've done the open mics for several years and they wind up, you know what, you're good, we're going to give you 20 minutes. We'll give you 30 minutes. You're the opening act for the main performer. We'll give you 30 minutes. So you know, you still have a good bit of time that you need to fill, but it's not necessarily 2 or 3 hours. And there are other things where people need to fill 2 or 3 hours. Live talk radio being another one. They continue here. Comedians know how to keep their audience engaged, which means you can learn a lot from these funny people about public speaking. Learn their secrets and apply them in your daily life, and you will be amazed to see how much your life will change. Number 1, they say work with emotions to bond with your audience. People crave to connect with others, and this is something that I talk about a good bit, that people don't want to feel as though they're all alone on this thing we call life. People want to have that connection with other people. So take advantage of this and bond with your audience. You can watch a comedian starting his or her show that will first share a humiliating story, something that will make their audience make their audience supportive towards them, something that will make the audience identify with the person in front of them. In your case, you can take advantage of the first minutes of your presentation or meeting to share a relatable story, which will put you under your audience, but at the same time, they will relate to you. Something like a story on doing the dishes, which is something we all do. And, it really depends on the circumstances that they're talking about here. So if, you've got a presentation at work and you're a little nervous and the boss is there, you might not want to, go on too much detail about something because the boss might be like, I'm paying you to give a presentation and teach your knucklehead coworkers how to do something, not make them laugh. So, know your audience, but also relate to the audience. Don't crack a joke about the boss in front of the boss is basically what I'm saying. Number 2, they say use your voice to paint an image in people's minds. And this is something that I will do quite frequently, or at least I paint an image in my own mind. And generally that's the image of a train going way off the track and then somehow finding its way back on. But comedians will rely on their own voices to take their audience to a different place at a different time. They use very detailed descriptions and modulate their voice to be able to paint the image they want in their audience's mind. They make sure they have a high-quality microphone, and this also fits for broadcasters and podcasters. Make sure you have a good quality microphone, which enables you to be able to alter the voice tonality and switch from screaming to whispering. A comedian also uses the microphone as a prop. That's something that radio broadcasters and podcasters can't necessarily do because, ours is more a auditory medium, not a visual medium. What can you learn from this? Well, I'll tell you. Stay tuned to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap, Spendabit, and Amazon at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. The Doublespeak Dictionary by Leslie Starr O'Hara satirizes the marked difference between the ideal of we the people and the reality of we the elite, while offering an insightful glimpse into the clockworks of the totalitarian mind. Ever irreverent but never irrelevant, the Doublespeak Dictionary serves as a subversive and humorous but timely reminder that the emperor has no clothes. The Doublespeak Dictionary is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry, online at fppradio.com.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Getting back into the list here of 4 things that you can learn from stand-up comedians about public speaking. Use your voice to paint an image. Use the microphone in such a way as to where you alter your voice. You can scream, you can whisper. Use it as a prop. Well, what can you learn from this? Well, you can use your voice to make the person in front of you imagine a completely different environment. You can use this secret when you have to convince an investor to put his money into your new project. This will work a lot better than trying to explain your project with PowerPoint drawings. Number 3, and I touched on this briefly, in the last item here where it said that stand-up comedians will use the microphone as a prop. And that works in a visual context. So in a scenario where something is both visual and auditory, then using something as a prop works. Doing it where it's, audio only, not so much. But this is where stand-up comedians have a leg up, if you will, on sort of a broadcaster from this perspective, is that body language is a powerful tool. Many comedians prefer to have a standing microphone, which gives them more freedom for gesticulation. That's talking with your hands. A comedian relies a lot on body language to accompany the story and the jokes. A comedian's gestures are always broad and take up a lot of space on the stage, sometimes even filling it. This is because they have to be seen by the entire audience, but also because they are highly confident. You don't have to exaggerate when you're speaking to your audience, but do use your body to complement your words. If you're not accustomed to having a microphone in your hand or standing in front of you, do practice with a similar tool, such as a broom for a standing microphone or a brush for a handheld microphone. And number 4, they say structure your speech. Comedians, and again, I will include broadcasters in this as well, always pay attention to their speech's structure, so they often return to a previous joke or a mention just before they close their show. This is intentional, as the audience is already familiar with the previous jokes, which makes them remember the speech easier. In daily life, you should use this technique to engage your audience and make sure they do remember your entire presentation, even if it was a lengthy one. Next time, and this is the conclusion, they say next time you watch a comedian perform on stage, take a second look and try to discover his secrets in order to put them to use in your own presentations and become a master of public speaking. So hopefully you have enjoyed that little ditty on 4 things you can learn from stand-up comedians about public speaking. And really, it's not just public speaking. It's about just any sort of thing where you're interacting with other people, to where, know your audience. And if you're in a situation, say, of first date, and you try to make a really weird joke and they don't laugh, then okay, maybe don't make weird jokes. If you're, in a business meeting, as I said, don't necessarily crack a joke about the boss in front of the boss. Because that definitely could lead you to have a not-so-pleasant day, which could lead you to have a not-so-peaceful day or peaceful life. Now, I mentioned that as a segue into the next article that I'm going to get into. It's 30 Small Habits to Lead to a More Peaceful Life. And this is really, one of the key points of version 4.0 of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, is it's me helping you have a more peaceful, free life where you're, becoming a better version of yourself while I become a better version of myself. And what better way to be a better version of you than to be a more peaceful you and have a more peaceful life. The article comes from lifehack.org, and they begin, in today's world, true peace must come from within us and our own actions. Here are 30 small things you can do on a regular basis to increase your overall sense of harmony, peace, and well-being. Number 1, and this sort of goes hand in hand with part of what I was talking about on Wednesday during the Ask Me Anything, where there was the question about why is there so much drama in the Liberty Movement. And that's because a lot of people don't follow rule number 1 here of 30, or I don't know if these are rules or whatnot. I'll call them rules, but the title is 30 Small Habits to Lead to a More Peaceful Life. Number 1, don't get into every fight you're invited to. And there's a lot of people that they think that they have to get involved in every Facebook thread that they come across. And, well, I'm sorry, but that's, kind of how you waste your life, is just arguing on the internet. Well, what's the statement about never argue with an idiot? Observers might not be able to tell who is who. There's also the thing about arguing with an idiot is like playing chess with a pigeon. The pigeon will just knock the pieces over, poop on the board, and strut around like it won. So why do they suggest you not get involved in every fight you're invited to? They say, well, particularly when you're around those who thrive on chaos, be willing to decline the invitation to join in on the drama. And I agree, joining in on the drama just leads to more drama, which leads to a less peaceful life. Number 2, focus on your breath. Throughout the day, stop to take a few deep breaths. Keep stress at bay with techniques such as square breathing. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, then breathe out for 4 counts, and hold again for 4 counts. Repeat this cycle, you guessed it, 4 times. Something that I will do every now and then after a good workout at the gym, I will do some yoga. But I don't do the yoga. There are several different variations of yoga. There's the more strenuous yoga. There's the yoga that is akin to a workout in and of itself. And then there's the relaxation meditation yoga. That's what I do. And I focus on the breathing while holding the pose. There's more. Stay tuned.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com.
Hi, I'm the Rebel Mistress.
And this is Rob Mathias, host of The Rebel Love Show.
And you're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
With Darryl W. Perry.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I'll get back into these 30 habits or 30 rules for a more peaceful life. But first, I want to make sure that I tell you about the FANS program. FANS are friends, allies, and numerous supporters, and you can join the FANS program for as little as $3 per month through Patreon. You get perks like ad-free versions of this show, Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. You also get ad-free versions of the daily 5-minute newscast that I produce. Again, that's produced 7 days a week. And there's also the monthly newspaper, FPP News. The newest issue will be coming out next week. So definitely, if you want to get the copy of that newspaper in your mailbox every month, go to fans.fppradio.com. There are other perks that you can get if you wind up contributing more than $3 per month. So again, go to fans.fppradio.com to check out those perks and sign up, join the FANS program. So what are the remaining rules to live by for a more peaceful life? Well, let me go back over these first two real quick. Don't get involved in every fight you're invited to. Just leads to more drama. Focus on your breathing. And the suggestion here is use a technique called square breathing, where you breathe in and you breathe in for 4 counts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You hold it for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You then breathe out for 4, and again you hold for 4. You repeat this 4 times. Number 3, they say get organized and purge old things. A cluttered space often creates a cluttered spirit. Take the time to get rid of anything you have not used in a year and invest in organizational systems that help you sustain a level of neatness. This is something that I definitely wind up needing to take the advice on, because I've had things in storage that have basically been in storage for several years, but every time I go through, it's like, oh, well, I might need this one day. I might need this one day. Well, I've not used it in several years. I need to just go ahead and throw it out. And I need to take my advice here and get rid of things that I'm not using. Number 4, they say stop yourself from being judgmental. And this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with. They say whenever you're tempted to have an opinion about someone else's life, check your intentions. Judging others creates and promotes negative energy. Number 5, say thank you early and often. Start and end each day with an attitude of gratitude. Look for opportunities in your daily routine and interactions to express appreciation. And something that I've talked about before, I forget what podcast I was listening to where they were talking about most people begin their day sort of picking on themselves. Not necessarily consciously picking on themselves, but they wake up, go into the bathroom, do their morning grooming routine. They'll look in the mirror, oh, well, I need to fix this, I need to fix that, and here's all the things that are wrong with the way I look right now. And so they begin the day on a negative note. And the suggestion was to leave positive statements on like sticky notes posted to your mirror before you go to bed. That way when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror, you see happy thoughts before you start, subconsciously tearing yourself down. Number 6, they say smile more. Even if you have to fake it until you make it, and I absolutely hate that term. They say there are many scientific benefits of smiling and laughing. Also, pay attention to your facial expression when you're doing neutral activities such as driving and walking. Turn that frown upside down. And I really don't see what the problem is with having a neutral expression on your face. But, again, they do mention that science has done some studies, and people that smile more often tend to be happier than people that don't. Number 7, don't worry about the future. As difficult as this sounds, there's a direct connection between staying in the present and living a more peaceful life. You cannot control the future, and as the old proverb goes, worry is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. Practice gently bringing your thoughts back to the present. And I don't think they're saying here, don't worry about tomorrow, so just go ahead and, spend all your money and burn all your cash and sell your house and quit your job. That's not what they're saying, but they're saying be more focused on the present. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about the past. Be focused on the present, but plan for the future. There's two different things. You can plan for the future without worrying about the future. Number 8, they say eat real food. The closer the food is to the state from which it came from the earth, the better you will feel about eating it, or rather the better you will feel in eating it. Choose foods that grow from a plant over food that was made in a plant. So what they're saying here is, more natural stuff, not processed. And something that I've talked about previously, Banana Island. I have gone back onto Banana Island for a few days, and I honestly don't know how long I'm going to stay on this time. But Banana Island, I will explain to you in the closing moments, as well as tell you the rest of the rules, or at least try to get through as many of these as possible. the 30 rules or habits for a more peaceful life. Stay tuned. This is Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $3 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake Security Company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Hey, I know you've got a question. What is Banana Island? Banana Island is sort of a dietary cleanse, to where for a period of days, the only solid food you eat, yep, you guessed it, are bananas. Now, you can have smoothies while on Banana Island. You can put any fruit, any vegetable that you want in your smoothie. And I have a bag, a fairly decent size reusable grocery bag full of supplements that go in my smoothies. And I generally will put plantains in my smoothies instead of bananas. And I know that's weird, right? Like, I had not until several months ago had ever actually eaten a plantain, but I'd been putting them in my smoothies for a while, and it is a lot creamier than a banana, and I like the way that it tastes. It's a slightly different taste than a banana, and a raw plantain tastes totally different from a cooked plantain. But again, the only solid food that you eat while you're on Banana Island are bananas, and again, it's a detox, not just of the body, but it's also, a way to where you're supposed to do more meditation while you're on it and sort of, rejuvenate your entire body mentally and physically. So jumping back into the 30 rules or habits for a more peaceful life, choose being happy over being right, and this fits with number 1 about don't join every fight you're invited to. Number 10, they say keep technology out of your bedroom. You're supposed to be able to sleep better when there's no electronics in the room. But yes, I know that this might not work, especially if you need to use this thing called an alarm clock. They say make use of filtering features on social media. You may not want to unfriend someone completely. However, you can choose whether you want to follow their post and or sources of information that they share. And this is something that I have made liberal use of on Facebook. Get comfortable with silence, they say. Listen to understand, not to respond. Put your troubles in a bubble. Speak more slowly. Don't procrastinate. They also suggest buying a coloring book and prioritizing yourself. Forgive others. Check your expectations. Engage in active play. Stop criticizing yourself. Focus your energy and attention on what you want. Assign yourself complaint-free days. Surround yourself with people you truly enjoy being in the company of. Manage your money. Stop trying to control everything. Practice affirmations. Get up before the sun rises. And most importantly, be yourself. This is Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copyheart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas, which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.